Hi folks, and welcome to my top 200 games of all time. Today we're going to talk about number 140 to 131. Number 140 is a game that's enjoying its sophomore season on the list here. It's Selenia. Selenia is an awesome game where you're playing cards from your hand, moving a blimp, sometimes left and right. You're getting a resource or an action, whatever you, or sometimes victory points, playing the card down there and taking action on the board. But another way you score points is when that blimp moves off, moves up or down and kind of, off a space and goes in a different direction. If we ever have to pull up, the whole board is modular and you pull them up and they're double-sided, so you have to pull it up and flip it on the reverse area and put it in the front or the back of wherever the blimp's going. And when you do, any cards left over there, they will trigger once again to give you bonus points, to give you more goods. You use these goods to buy upgrades on your ship that also give you victory points and also give you goods as well. And it is such a streamlined game. It's got a great look, great components. The only person I've ever heard talk about this game and talk about it fondly is Z from the Dice Tower. He really loves it, and it seems like he and I are the only two people that have ever talked about this game too. But Selenia is nice. It came and went a few years back. No one talked about it, and I was really shocked because I thought, I got on the end on this one. This is going to be a popular one. If I get it, it's probably never going to be popular. Now, last year I did have it at number 65. You can't help Cult of the New, right? As much as I try to hide it, I just played the game a million times. I loved it, and I said, this top 100 game. All right, so now sophomore slump, dropped 75 spots. No reason, I guess. I know I only played it once this year, but I still love the game. Just with so many games, it's hard to get these games to the table, 2 or 3 times or more times when you have as many games as you have, days in the calendar year. Actually, I have more than that if you count on my vintage. But anyway, Selenia, my number 140. Number 139 is a new game added to my collection. And this, believe the hype. This is the year where I believe the hype on Stefan Feld. I took the challenge and I fell for a few more Stefan Feld games I said I would never try. This is one, Carpe Diem. Holy crow. I got the newer edition here. The old edition seems fine too. There seems to be some schism. People are like, the old's the best. I'm supposed to say, the new is great. I don't know. I like the new edition. I could have done the old edition too, but I saw there was a new edition, said, sure, I'll get that. It's a great game. There is so much going on. You're moving to the left or the right. Those are your choices. You're taking those actions, hopefully grabbing tiles, hopefully, connecting tiles together to form a good. And you're using those goods to cash them in one time only on the board with other players, meaning once you use that to gain victory points on it, no one else may use that area again. Now, there are more than one area on certain cards to score, but it's so integral. And then in the way you set up your game and the way you get certain things, you cover certain areas on your board, can give you points too. In true Feld fashion, he has a bunch of mechanics, bunch of moving factors that are rotating around, they're doing different things in several different ways to score points and several different ways to strategize in this game. I don't know how he comes up with these ideas, but I'd heard Carpe Diem was good. I gave it a look a long time. I was like, that doesn't look for me. And then I decided to go ahead and say, what the heck? And I got a bunch of Feld games, like Luna was one I really enjoyed. And It Happens was newer too this year. And so I was like, all right, we'll go for Carpe Diem. And that was the real deal there. Now I put it at 139 because, like I said, Cult of the New, holding my breath here, but I remember playing with my nephews and they went, what was the name of that game? I said, Carpe Diem. They went, that was a pretty good game. I said, yeah, it was a good game. I wasn't sure, even when I brought it out and read the instructions, like, oh man, will this be any fun? And it was. So Carpe Diem, my number 139. Number 138 has been in my collection for 4 years now, and hey, wouldn't you know, it's Queen Games. And this is one that's going to surprise a lot of people, I think. Templar, The Secret Treasures. See this game for cheap everywhere. No one talks about it. Is it over here? No, it's not around here. It's somewhere on this shelf. But Templar, The Secret Treasures. Ooh. You're playing cards, but you can't play a card that someone else has recently played that round, which forces you to change your strategy, especially if you have a lot of players, which I think is just so much fun. You're hiding treasures around the abbey, and then of course you're bringing the Pope in those areas, hopefully, to score them. Now, when I talk about Queenies being worth getting, You should not buy this game without the Queenies. You've got to get the Queenies somehow. I know there's some people on eBay and on Board Game Geek who sell it with all the Queenies. Those are the ones you pay the little bit extra and get it. Because without the Queenies, this is a ho-hum game. It may not even have stayed in my collection. It may not have. But when we started playing with the Queenies, I never looked back. Now, I got the first 3 Queenies, but my version didn't come with the 4th one. I finally found, I couldn't believe I found it. Someone in Germany was selling the 4th Queenie just out of the blue, and I bought it immediately for like $8. So it was great. Most of that was shipping too. And he sent it to me. It's just 4 little tokens for each player. And we played with all the Queenies for the first time ever, and it was so much fun. My buddy won, and he won big. He used every Queenie exactly as it should be used. The 4th Queenie is a key that basically can unlock a door. It's a simple strategy that if someone has stored a ton of treasure in the room and they're trying to get a big payday, you play a card called Porticus and you move a locked door that he cannot pass through. But for once in the game, you can use your key, keep it for 4 victory points. Nah, use it, open that door just once. Use it and lose it, and he scored big time. I looked at him and went, oh my gosh, you did so well. I mean, it was just a flawless victory is what he had. He did so well with that game, and it made me appreciate the game even more. This game started off at number 91 on my list, and then for some reason the next 2 years dropped to 168 both years, and now it's gone up 30 spots. Because when we got that extra Queenie, it feels like the game is now complete and now we can really play. And I can't wait to use some of those strategies that I saw him using. I mean, he used everything perfectly, all the Queenies perfectly. And I don't know why they just don't include the Queenies in every game. I think it enhances every Queen's game. But this is one that's so good that I don't know. Next year, it may be fighting for a spot in the top 100 again. Who knows? But it is a great game. Number 137 has been in my collection for 4 years now. It is coconuts. Oh man, come on. You're just slinging coconuts from a springboarded monkey into these baskets. And you're trying to get 6 baskets in your own personal stash. People can steal your baskets by shooting coconuts into your baskets too. There'll be coconuts. You'll be picking up coconuts all around the room by the end of this game, laughing. Now we have to pause because these coconuts get lost a lot and we need them. So if someone shoots one too far, which is always going to happen, you pause and let them do it. Playing with the little action cards that can screw over other players or help you out is really fun too. We play with that all the time. And it does not get old. It's trick shots and stuff. It's an excellent, I hate to say party game because I hate party games. As you notice, there are no party games on my list. I don't have a single party game. So not really in the party game kind of guy. Boy, oh boy, do I love me some coconuts. To me, this is kind of a party game, I guess, now that I think about it. But it was started at 113 on my list. It never was destined for the top 100, I guess, because then it moved down to 171, moved up to 157, and this year moves up 20 more spots to 137. I still don't think I'll ever have this in my top 100 just because of the simplicity of it. But just because a game is simple doesn't mean it can't be one of your favorite games. I do love it, and I'll be honest, there is not a single person, my nephews or my adult gaming group, who does not have fun playing this game. Everyone loves this game, and this is a game you can bring out to anyone. Anyone in your family would love to play this game. A good gateway game if you're looking for something like that for anyone to play. Number 136, I got a reprint, I think, this year. It's been around on my list for 3 years now. Sansouci. Oh man, I love this gardening game. You're playing cards, getting certain tiles, placing those tiles on your board, and then moving one of your 6 or 7 gardeners down, or royals down, to gain victory points. And there's so much strategy in this game about, you can go different routes. You don't have to go straight in the arrow. You can go around using other people's roads to get back to your road. And the further down you go, the more points you're getting. But you want to save, because you only move once per the end of your per turn. And so, like, if I can only move this way, and I've got spots 1, 2, 3, and 4. If I move it all the way down to 4, I get 4 victory points. But if I just move it down to 3 this time, I get 3 victory points. And the next round, if I can't get any other, squares to move any of my other people, royals, I'll move him down one more for another 4 points. That's 7 points instead of 4 points in one round. So you have to think like that a little bit, but you don't want to be too timid and move everyone just one space each, because then the game will end before you have anyone down at the bottom. You never scored any big points. If you play with this little extra module, which you should, it basically gives you bonuses or penalties for placing certain tokens on these spaces. That is wonderful. I absolutely love it. So there's a lot of variety in this game and replayability. And I don't know what the reprint looks like, but I've noticed it did get a reprint. Mine is it's just been great. It was 156 when it premiered on my list, went down a little bit to 167, but now it's come roaring back up 31 spots to claim a spot on my list at 136. I don't know. I feel that if this game got played a lot more, it may be a top 100 game. I really do enjoy Sansouci. Number 135 is a new game, and one of the earliest new games. I think I got this at the end of last year when I was already done with my list. I got this game. Of course, Queen Games. It is Zen Garden. Again, tile placement is not my thing. It's not my jam, but for some reason, Zen Garden is just awesome. It's more than just making 4 little circles on your own player board. You're trying to do different things and get certain points from and you play with all the modules in this game. Why wouldn't you? Because there's different aspects in the game that can gain you more points. Sure, a completed circle is nice to have. Sure, it's all the same color, but if you have this, or if you get this, or if you add this to it, or if you do this to it, you'll get even more points. And again, since the goals change every game, there's different strategies involved. And again, tile placement isn't my thing. Not really something I love, but I do enjoy Zen Garden. I use my Amazon gift card to get this game, but hopefully it's going down in price. It was a little too expensive at like $50 or $40. That's a little too expensive. In the $30 range, I'd say definitely $20 range, it's worth it, but it is a whole lot of fun. Zen Garden, another Queen game, a new Queen game into my collection. My number 134 has been in my collection since the very beginning of me making these lists for 6 years, and it is Black Fleet. Sadly, this one's out of print and very expensive, I hear. This one's Space Cowboys, and basically you are playing a card and moving your own merchant ship, because merchant ships delivering cargo from one space to the next can get points or money, which you can use to upgrade your cards. And you can also move your pirate ship on every turn, and pirate ships are raiding other people's merchant ships for extra coin, and then burying that treasure on certain islands for even more coin. And then you use that coin to unlock more special abilities. Or you can use the 2 generic Navy ships that are on the board that any player can access, and they go after pirates. And if you sink pirates, you can get some more money, which you can turn into an upgrade for your player board. This is like Machikoro on steroids. It's Machikoro done right, in my opinion, because of course everyone's power is so unique, unlike Machikoro. Everyone's power is so unique that you have different cheats in the game as the game goes along, and they're all kind of evenly balanced, in my opinion. And of course, you're trying to get the most money to flip over that last card at the end to win the game. Oh, the production value is there. It's got metal coins. It's got beautiful sculpted ships, nice vibrant board. I wish the game was back into print, but it isn't. My oldest game group member, who just left this past year, he would say this is in his top 3 board games of all time. He loves playing Black Fleet. We played it together one of the times the week before he left, I think, and it is a great game. It's awesome. It was in my top 100 for the first 3 years at 19, 45, and 89, and then I added another pirate game that I really love that you'll see later on, maybe in the top 100. And that's when this game had to take a back seat, and it went down to 155 and 153. But this year it moved up 19 spots, so pretty good there at 134. I don't think it will ever be a top 100 game again, just because if I want to play something with pirates, I got another game I'm going to pull off the shelf more times than not. But I do love this game, and whenever it comes out, I don't mind playing it. I absolutely adore it. My number 134, Black Fleet. My number 133 It's been in my collection for 3 years now. It is New Bedford. New Bedford is a very tight worker placement game. You only got 2 workers, and you're playing around the city to get certain supplies or launching your ships off the pier to go get some whales. And while that's getting whales, then you're doing anything you can to make money, because when it comes back, if you can't pay the money to process those whales, you're not going to get the victory points. A lot of things going on here. The expansion, can't remember its name right now, High Tide or New Tide or whatever, that is worth getting. That is worth getting. The White Whale promo is okay. It's not that big of a deal. But New Tide or Tide Rising or whatever it's called, you get that one too. It adds a lot of extra things like a 5th player and stuff. But this game is solid. The pieces look great. It's based off of historic events where it was a whaling town that kind of just sadly ran all the whales extinct, and that's what's going to happen toward the end of the game, because so many people have gotten whales. There's nothing but water tokens left, and it's hard to get whales as the game ends. But there's a lot going on, and you have to, every time you place a worker, it's serious, man, because you can't waste workers. You cannot waste actions. Each action must be taken seriously. You've got to think about what you want to do before just placing something down there. I love the game. Super tight, super fun. And, like I said, a lot of different strategies. You want to build your own. Each person has their own side of town that they're building up, and you want to build the nice stores that other people will use, because if they use your store, you get money, and money, like I said, super tight in this game. So a lot going on with New Bedford. It fits in a little small box, so it actually doesn't take up so much shelf space. I don't know what the price is on this, but I can't imagine it being expensive. Either way, I love this game. My number 133. Number 132 is on its sophomore season here in the collection. It was 136 when it debuted, so it inches up about 4 spaces, and that's fine because it's a Polish game, Koika Boy. In Koika, you are re-experiencing the late 80s and early 90s when communism was at its worst and they couldn't get supplies anywhere, and so people just stayed in line. They waited in line for days, weeks at a time, just to get maybe one item from a store. And it's sad when you read the history of this, but I believe the Country of Poland Princess game, I'm not sure, but I remember I got a copy. The base game is in English. The expansion is not. If you can find it, it's worth getting. You don't have to have it, but it adds even more to the history and lore of Koika. And there are, I think, print and play English editions for it if you want to do that and just sleeve everything. I guess that'd be all right. And then the other little mini expansion just comes with 7 extra cards. That was also not translated to English either. But man, I thought, a game waiting in line, that's got to be so stupid. I want it. And I finally found it with the expansions. I had to print out and put little, not stickers, but just a little extra. I put them all, I sleeved all the cards and put the English translation on the card, each card there, so I could play with it. And oh, wow. Wow, wow, wow. How can a game of standing in line, and it's so aggravating because I think you're only trying to get 6 items, but it takes forever to get 3 items of these, 2 of these, and 1 of those, or something like that. Or maybe it's more than that, but you're trying to get different sets of different types of, junk, really. The artwork is not good in this. I don't enjoy that, but the concept of playing cards that move you up in the line or move other people back or something, you're always jockeying for that top position just to get that one or maybe very rarely second item that's coming out in that store. It sounds aggravating now that I think about it. Why would you want to get this game? But it actually is a fun game. I've had a lot of fun times with this. I mean, it moves up 4 spots, even though I have added a lot of games to my list this year. So that's something to be said for it. And if you're interested in the base game, I think you can get this. I think you can get it for pretty cheap. It looks like an old package, which that's also part of their history too. Oh man, so much history packed in that game. Read the history about it. It's like half the booklet, I think. But it is so intriguing to think that this happened in my lifetime. I was around during the late 80s, early 90s. I had no idea people were living like this. So hats off to whoever designed this game, because it is awesome. It is awesome. Koika. Finally, number 131 is basically a little filler game. Kind of gotten long in the tooth for me, but I still will play it at a drop of a hat. Las Vegas. Las Vegas is just chucking die, having fun, assigning those die to different casinos and getting those jackpots if you have the most of that die in that casino. Whew, I have the Boulevard. I think it's Boulevard expansion for this, and it is great. I play with all the little expansions to it too, and we have a great time. It just adds a little bit more flavor. The more players you have in this, the better, or the more fun, I should say, you're having in a game. And for the first 3 years on my list, it was in my top 100. It was number 18 at one point, if you can believe that. Then it went to 24, then it went to 50. Then last year it went to 106 because I'm not playing as many filler games as I used to. And this year it drops another 25 spots because, again, there's other filler games that are taking up my time. This one's not that far down the list. Like I said, at 131, that's still good. It's still getting played here and there, but it's not one of my go-to filler games, I guess I should say, anymore. There is not a single person in my group that does not have fun playing this game. I think they came out with a new, very nice edition recently, and you should definitely get that. I believe the expansions are in that too, and it's called something else. I can't remember, but I think my nephews bought it because they love the game. They had to have a copy of the game, so they bought a copy of the game too. But Las Vegas, it seems simple, it seems silly, it seems stupid, but awesome game. My number 131. All right, folks. That is it for now, but come back next time and, hey, I'll tell you what, I'll talk about 10 more. See you then.